Hello, a very good afternoon to all of you. Is anybody in? I know there was a little confusion about the class today, but I hope you are all there. Can you see me? Is anyone in? All right. So today we're going to do close test. But before that, let me tell you about our course, that is our subscription offer, Gradeup Super. It gives you it's a subscription offer like nothing before. We have given this very advantageous for students. A lot of students have already availed it. It gives you unlimited access to all structured live courses. So if you're a student of one course and you have Gradeup Super, you have all the courses in that uh, genre available to you. Okay, and the best of courses, all the mock tests, everything is open to you with one subscription offer. So that is something you need to look at. A lot of students have already availed it. Make sure you are also one of them. Download the Gradeup app, the latest version, so that you get all the notifications of all our offers. We also have a series of mock tests which will be available to you either through the Super Series or through the Gradeup Green Card. Green Card for MBA tests has a series of mock tests for you for all exams. CAT, ZAT, CMAT, MAT, all the MBA exams that you will be appearing in the course of your MBA preparations. And we have one of the best team of, not just one of the best, I can say the best team available for each subject matter experts like Vikas Dahiya, Jatin Agarwal, Vijay Jha, Ashish Tiwari, Sanojam Pranav Pant, and I am going to be your VARC instructor along with Sanojam. So we will take you through all the sections that are asked in aptitude tests for MBA, reading comprehension, critical reasoning, logic, and vocabulary and grammar, of course. As of now, we have two courses running live. One is the comprehensive course for CAT 2020 and the other is the CAT 2020 retakers batch. Okay, the retakers batch is like a crash course where we do all the things that we do for the year-long course only in very quick time. So we have a lot of classes, longer classes, and we cover the course for all of you. To find out more about it, do visit our website and make sure you get all the notifications and decide to join whatever. We also download our Gradeup app so that you can avail the free series on our Gradeup app. We have Mission CAT 2020 where we have a free series of all the important topics for CAT. We have decoding different types of RC questions where we have just RC questions for CAT. As you know, RC is the main area which is tested in CAT. Then you have the ABC series. Vijay Jha takes it every evening or every second evening. Special series telling you how to get into IIM ABC with the best questions selected from the past question papers and all methods to answer them fast. We also have a course specifically the free series on DI, Master DI, where you are given important tools to excel in DI. Now, data interpretation is the make or break section for CAT. A lot of years, that's the most difficult section, and many students fail to make the cutoff because of data interpretation. So that is something that will help you a lot. In addition to this, we have a free series on YouTube, Mission 2020, and also the ABC series on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell so that you get notifications of all the classes. And if you like the videos and classes, do spare the few seconds to press the like button. Your feedback means a lot to us. All right, let us start with fill in the blanks. Why is it? It's called a cloze test. CLOZE. I don't know why Z or S would make no difference. That's because they give you a paragraph and the options are pretty close for the paragraph. So you're given a short or long paragraph with 4 or 5 words missing, and for each of the words missing you're given 4 options. This these words in the paragraphs. The paragraphs can be based on a test of your vocabulary. So they could be a test of words, or they could be a test of grammar too, because in many cases in that it is in, on, at, and those kind of prepositions that are given in the fill in the blank. So we will do both types, but today we are primarily, I have given you passages with vocabulary, which tests your vocabulary mostly from past CAT and ZAT papers. CAT has stopped giving close questions for a long time now, but ZAT continues to do it. So it's a good way to learn vocabulary. It's a fun way to learn vocabulary. All right, so let's first read the first passage. At that time, the White House was as serene as our sought hotel out of season, as are some hotels out of season. The corridors were dash. In the various offices, dash grey men in waistcoats talked to one another in low-pitched voices. The only color or color, curiously enough, was provided by President Eisenhower himself. Apparently, his dash was easily set off. He scowled when he dashed the corridors. Now, the White House was as serene or peaceful as hotels are when they are out of season. When it's not tourist season, people don't throng to hotels. The corridors were dash. What do you think is the word that goes in the first blank? Is it A, striking, B, hollow, C, empty, or D, white? The corridors were dash. We normally don't say hollow, right? You talk of hollow branches, hollow caves, but you do talk of no one there in the corridor, means the corridors were empty. All right. In the various offices, dash grey men in waistcoats talked to one another in low-pitched voices. So they were talking silently to each other. All right. So what kind of old men would they be? Grey men would they be? Quiet grey men. Okay. Maybe you don't say faded grey men in faded waistcoats. Okay. Stentorian and loud mean the same because they are talking in low pitched voices. They cannot be stentorian, right? Vishesh, was that the answer for A? Yes, answer for A was C, Vishesh. Perfect. Answer for B is quiet though, because stentorian means very loud, and they're talking in low pitched voices. So obviously the answer would be quiet grey men in waistcoats talk to one another in low pitched voices. The only color or color. Now, is this a mistake? No. Choler means irritability. It's the lining of your stomach, but in other ways, if you're choleric, it means you're very irritable. Okay. That's why he says the only color or color was provided by President Eisenhower himself. Apparently, his dash was easily set off. So if he was choleric, then what was easily set off? Quickly, give me answers. His choler or temper was set off. He used to get angry very fast. He scowled. What is scowling? Having a very unpleasant experience, like a frowning expression on your face. So when he dashed the corridor. So what does a president who is impatient and angry do? Let's look at the fourth option. Okay, so apparently his temper was easily set off and he scowled when he paced, strolled, stormed, or pretentious. Pretentious the corridor nahi hoga. The other three verbs we want. Stroll is when you walk slowly, in a relaxed manner in the garden. But strolling the corridors doesn't make sense. Stormed, something come in with a rush. He stormed into the room, we say, but you don't say stormed the corridor. So when you're walking up and down the corridor, that is called pace the corridors. All right. So apparently his temper was easily set off and he scowled when he paced the corridor. So now when you read the entire passage, it will say, at that time, the White House was not as serene as hotels out of season, was as serene as hotels out of season. The corridors were empty. All right. Yeah. Okay. The corridors were empty. In the various offices, quiet grey men in waistcoats talked to one another in low pitched voices. The only color was provided by President Eisenhower. Apparently, his temper was easily set off and he scowled when he paced the corridors. Got it? All right. Okay. Next one. Second passage. All right, Vishesh and Binod, let's start. Von Neumann and Morgenstern assume a decision framework in which first read the passage fully, in which all options are thoroughly considered, each option being independent of the others, with a numerical value derived for the utility of each possible outcome. The decision is then made to maximize the expected utility. This is all background information so that you understand what kind of words would fit in 5, 6, 7. So he's talking of a decision framework where a numerical value was derived for each of the possible outcomes, and the decision is made based on the numerical values to maximize the expected utility. Now, what would be the first word? Regrettably, such a model reflects major simplifications of the way decisions are made in the real world. Firstly, such a model reflects major simplifications. Obviously, such a model reflects major simplifications, or apparently, such a model uh, reflects simplifications. Which do you think is the answer? What do you think is the answer? All right, can I have your answers quickly? Quickly, Vishesh and Binod. Apparently, okay, if you're saying that, let's look at what comes next. See, I've given you the entire passage. Humans are not to process information as quickly and effectively as the model assumes. So here, therefore, you're saying this model is wrong because we do not process information as quickly and effectively as the model assumes. They think not to think dash as easily as the model calls for. So whatever he is saying, Vishesh, next is the negative of this decision framework. Therefore, the word you want is unfortunately. It is to be regretted, regrettably. All right, not D but A. Regrettably, such a model reflects major simplifications of the way decisions are made in real life. Human beings do not process information. This will be do not. As quickly and effectively as the model assumes. They think not, they tend means they have a tendency not to think, because he's talking of numbers. We always don't think in terms of numbers. So the answer will be they tend not to think quantitatively as easily as the model calls for. Got it? So this model doesn't work because it makes a lot of simplifications about the way decisions are made. We human beings do not give numerical values to each decision. So we do not think quantitatively. We do not think in terms of numbers and quantities. They tend not to think quantitatively as the model calls for. They often deal with a particular option without really assessing its dash. And when they do assess alternatives, so they do not assess what. And when they finally do that, they may be externally nebulous, means very shadowy, okay, about their criteria. Very vague. Nebulous is vague. So what's the word you want in question 7? Option 5 is regrettably. Unfortunately, it is to be regretted that. 6 is they don't think in terms of numbers, so they don't think quantitatively. So what do you think 7 means? They do not assess it could either be implications or the consequences or alternatives. But here, since alternatives has been given, so we'd say they don't assess alternatives. And when they start assessing alternatives, The criteria they use for on what grounds are you assessing the alternative, that itself is very shadowy. Got it? So the answer will be D. Excellent. All right. So now you have an idea what close passages look like, right? In the sense that a long passage is given to you, it's always good to read the entire passage once quickly before filling in the uh, options, and the options turn out to be close. Okay, now this is an old cat passage, so it's on income tax, so you're going to be using words used in the tax, collection of tax, fine, refund, those kind of words. All right, so let's do this. Between the year 1946 and 1955, I did not file any income tax returns. With that dash statement, Ramesh embarked on an account of his encounter with the income tax department. What kind of statement is that? What is devious? Devious means something which is twisted, right? So it cannot be that. It's not a tactful statement because he said it directly. Pretentious means showy, okay, where you want to pretend that you have a lot more wealth and status than you have. So with that blunt, extremely frank and blunt statement, so the answer is with that blunt statement, Ramesh embarked on an account of his encounter with the income tax department. Then what did he say? I originally owed 20,000 in unpaid taxes. With dash and dash, the 20,000 became 60,000. So what's the first dash? With dash and dash. So what do you think the first one will be? All right, so he owes, so what would that be when you owe somebody with interest, and second fines, with interest and fines, the 20,000 suddenly became 60,000. All right, so with interest on what he owes plus the fines. Okay, so therefore the answer would be A. Principal is what you are owing them, no Gautam. So it has to be A, the interest on the money you owe them plus the fines. Okay, the 20,000 became 60,000. You talk of principal when you are getting interest from a bank, but here you owe them 20,000. So the money that is owed, the interest plus the tax fines. Okay, 20 became 60 that he owed. Okay, let's look at the next part. The income tax department then went into action, and I learned firsthand just how much power the tax department wields. Royalties and trust funds can be dashed. Is it closed, attached, detached, or impounded? You owe somebody some money, right? So what does the bank do when you owe somebody money? It attaches something, a piece of property or something, to the person to whom you owe money, so at least he gets a part of his repayment. So therefore the word would be attached. Impounded could be used for vehicles, physical property which they seize and they keep because you have broken a law. So here attached goes better than impounded. So royalties and trust funds can be attached. Automobiles may be, what do they do to an automobile? They may seize it, take it by force. Automobiles may be seized. Okay, they may smash it or dismantle it, but if they are taking it away from you, they probably use more force. So this makes more sense. Seized and auctioned off, because they want to sell it off. They obviously take it by force and sell it off. Nothing belongs to the dash until the case is settled. What are you called? If you haven't paid the tax, you are called a tax offender, right? Right, Mohammed Kesh also got that right. All right. So how does the uh, uh, passage finally read? With that blunt statement, here we had a blunt statement, Ramesh embarked on an account of his encounter with the income tax department. I originally owed 20,000, but with interest and fines, my 20,000 became 60,000. The income tax department then went into action. What did it do? It attached his trust and funds, gave it to themselves, people to whom he owes money. Automobiles are seized and auctioned off, so some money is made, and nothing belongs to you. You cannot be a victim because you have not paid taxes. So you are the person who's made. In the income tax department's view, you are an offender because you have not paid taxes. So offender. Did all of you understand? Rishabh, Gautam, Vishesh, Mohammed Kesh, all of you have understood how to. Let me now give you a tougher passage. This was ZAT 2018. All right. We will read it slowly, don't worry. But I want you to tell me. All four options are given in one option. So you can read, you can fix all the words and decide which option works. The payoff from dash in education is so dash and almost dash that it is almost dash as a predicator of economic change over a 5 to 10 year period. So here, this is the question, should have been in the other. I added this in the last minute. This is the question. Fill in the blanks. Okay. So what do you think is the answer for 14? Read and tell me. The payoff from dash in education, expenditure, productivity, expenditure, investment is so small, fast or slow, and insignificant, erratic, significant, erratic, predictable. I'm getting all confused. I'm not going to read it out. Tell me what's the right answer. A, B, C, D or E. Gautam says E, the investment in education is so slow and predictable that it is almost slow. And see, you have to go with another negative here, Gautam. Alright, D is so slow and erratic that it is almost the payoff from investment in education is so slow and erratic that it is almost useless as a predictor of economic change. Okay with that now? Okay, Gautam says D. Mohammed Kesh says A, expenditure is so small and insignificant that it is. See, why would you use small and insignificant? Small means insignificant, right? So you're just repeating those two. Understood? Why would you say small and insignificant? So that's the next. And is it expenditure in education, or better to say investment in education? The investment, that the money that you're putting into education, you're getting something out of it. So would you call it expenditure or investment? Right? So D is best. The investment in education, the payoff from investment in education is so slow and erratic that it's almost useless. Useless in what? As a predictor of economic change over a 5-10 year period. Got it? The payoff from productivity in education, Malvika, doesn't make sense, right? So the first thing that should have flagged you off is payoff from investment in education. Investment in education, you're investing money because you're getting some sort of a reward. But that reward, according to the author, is so slow and so erratic. If it had been unpredictable here, Gautam initially said E, right? If it had been unpredictable, maybe. Got it? Question 14 is D. Now let's look at the last question of the set. Slightly difficult. It has a grammar element to it. So let's see. The Lannisters had dash gold than the Tyrrells until the Lannister army sacked Highgarden and took the Tyrrell fortune to pay back the Iron Bank. On the other hand, the Northern army has dash than 10,000 men, and therefore Jon needs to bend the knee to the Daenerys. What happens in the story next is dependent on George Martin, the writer of the series. For Dash, he has not written anything further, and we hope that George Martin will get around to finishing the book dash. But as it happens, dash book releases are delayed. It's a long one. Think and start. One or two words should flag you off, especially the first one. Do you say less gold or fewer gold? With that, you start off and eliminate options. Okay. Then you move on to the other things. So use the first word, eliminate the options where the first word doesn't work. Then move on to the others. Then go with the second. Let's see quickly. The Lannisters had fewer gold or less gold? क्या होगा? Quickly tell me that. See, gold is a uncountable noun, right? You don't. So what's the rule? This is the rule of grammar I was telling you. When it is things, I'll say, suppose I had 1 cup of coffee. I have 2 cups of coffee in the morning. Today I had 1 cup only. I had fewer cups today, but I had less coffee today. So you don't say fewer gold. The Lannisters had less gold. Less gold is always in terms of quantity, right? Money also. We say, I have more money, less money. So the Lannisters had less gold than the Tyrells until the Lannister army sacked. So less is only these two options. Now we'll start off. The Northern army has, it obviously will be fewer than 10,000 men. Therefore, John needs to bend the knee to the Daenerys. Whatever happens in the story is dependent on George Martin, the writer of the series. For some time, kuch samay hua hai, he has not written anything further. And we hope George Martin will get around to finishing the book for some time, sorry. Which sometime is the question, okay? So finishing the book sometime soon. But as it happens, sometimes book releases are delayed. So 15, the answer is A. This sometime here is wrong. All right. So these are very, very slight errors that's why it's called a closed test. And that tests you on questions like this. So all the time you have to be aware it's not just vocabulary. There are some questions which are based on vocabulary, some questions which are based on grammar, some questions, articles, prepositions, this less, few, fewer rule. Less is used for amounts, few and fewer is used for numbers. All right. Today there are fewer students in my class because initially the class was scheduled but they didn't put it up and then we had it again. My mistake actually. All right. Okay. I hope it was a quick class, short class, but I hope you found it useful because, longer than this, students don't want vocab. So my only way to get you to do vocab is to do short half-an-hour sessions, either synonyms, antonyms, fill in the blanks, and then I'll say, okay, after that we'll go on to RCs, right? All right, quickly, any doubts? I'll take it for 5 minutes and then we will end the class. Any doubts? Any questions? Robin, Gautam, Hamudkesh, Malbika, any questions? No? All good? All right, I'll see you very soon in one more session where we will look at some other aspect of the cat. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.